Hey everybody, I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina at the Sharon Memorial Park, standing in front of a war memorial. But today, we're going to visit several baseball players buried here that most people probably won't remember at all. Some famous, some not so famous, but let's try and find all their gravestones and provide a little history on baseball and the players themselves. So Pat Cooper played 2 seasons for the Philadelphia Athletics. He spent 5 years in the minors, and during this 5-year stretch, he left the minors to serve in the U.S. Army during World War II, and he returned in 1946. Pat was called up from the minors in 46, and he appeared in only 1 game, and he was a pitcher. He pitched only 1 inning, faced 5 batters, and gave up 1 hit and 1 walk with no strikeouts. In 1947, he appeared in 13 games as a first baseman and as a pinch hitter. In 1948, Pat Cooper was sent back to the minors, where he played an additional 3 years before retiring in 1950. Pat Cooper's major league stats consist of 2 seasons, 14 games, with 16 plate appearances, a batting average of .250, and a pitching ERA of 0 after facing 5 batters. And for those who are interested in the team history, the Philadelphia Athletics moved to Kansas City in 1955 and then to Oakland in 1968. Some of you may know that they're planning to move to Vegas in 2028 and will play the next few seasons in Sacramento, much to fans' disappointment. And here we are. Someone actually remembered Pat Cooper. There's a baseball here. And you can see O. Pat Cooper and Marzell P. Cooper. We're coming up to the grave of Garry Hill. Garry played only 1 game in his major league career. He was called up by the Atlanta Braves in 1969 after spending a couple of years in the minors. In that 1 game, he pitched only 2 1/3 innings, faced 14 batters, and gave up 6 hits, 1 walk, and 4 runs, but striking out 2. This gives him the highly inflated 15.43 ERA. Garry was sent back to the minors and ended his career there in 1973. He fared much better there. His minor league career consists of 560 innings and a 3.7 ERA. After his baseball career, he worked in private industry as a salesman, but his love for baseball remained. He took over On Deck Academy from founder Mike Schilt, who had a great baseball career himself, and is now, as of this recording, the manager of the Padres. Hill and his sons manage On Deck, which is an organization designed to provide baseball training, life skills, and coaching to would-be amateur and professional players. From what I read about Garry Hill, he was very well loved and respected. I'm kind of surprised I don't see a mention to baseball here, but there we go, Garry. Before playing in the big leagues, Bob Porterfield was a sergeant with the 82nd Airborne Division and fought at the Battle of the Bulge. After the war, Porterfield was signed to the Yankees in 1946 and started as a pitcher in 1948. He started 22 games during his 4 years on the Yankees, and he had a record of 8-9. He was traded to the Washington Senators in 1951. He spent time at Boston, Pittsburgh, and the Cubs. Overall, Bob Porterfield had a lifetime ERA of 3.80 with an 87-97 record. And after retiring from baseball, he became a welder in the Charlotte area. Okay, we're coming up on the grave of Bert Cueto. Nickname was Dag. So Dag Cueto pitched for 9 years, primarily in the minor and Mexican leagues, but he did have one season in the majors playing for the Minnesota Twins in 1961. Dag was born in Cuba in 1937. When he was 18, he was signed to play in the minor leagues where he spent 9 seasons. While playing in Charlotte, North Carolina, he met his future wife, and after his career, they settled here.
Dag's only major league season was in 1961, where he pitched in 7 games, started 5, and ended with a record of 1 win, 3 losses, pitching 21 1/3 innings with an ERA of 7.17.
He ended his career in the minors with a 40-40 win-loss record. His love for baseball never waned. He played up until almost 70 years of age in many of the local amateur teams in the area. These are very, very nice graves. And I see somebody left the ball here. I'm going to move it a little closer. I think it belongs right here. Billy Werber had a pretty long career playing shortstop and third base. In 1930, he played only 4 games with the Yankees, where he batted .286. After 1930 season, he was sent down to the minors, and he came back from the minors to the Yankees in 1933, where he played only 3 games with 2 at-bats. After the 33 season, Werber was traded to the Red Sox, where he batted .321 in 1934. After the Red Sox, Werber played for the Oakland A's, the Reds, the Giants. Overall, he played 11 seasons, a lifetime batting average of .271. Werber lived to be 100 years old and was the last living player to have been a teammate of Babe Ruth. Werber's also in the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame. Okay, now we're standing in front of the grave of Bill Harris. Bill Harris had a very long career. He spent 7 years in the majors, playing for the Cincinnati Reds, the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Boston Red Sox, and an amazing 21 years in the minors. After 2 years playing in the minors, playing in the North Carolina leagues, Bill was signed to the Reds in 1923 as a pitcher. He played for 2 seasons with the Reds before moving to the Pirates. It is here where he spent most of his major league career, pitching 276 2/3 innings over 4 years with an ERA of 3.45. In 1935, Harris was sent down to the Buffalo Bisons, a Double-A league team where he spent 4 years. In 1938, he returned for a year and pitched for the Red Sox, pitching 25 games and starting 3 games. He was again sent down to Double-A in 1939 and played until he retired in 1944. His major league stats are 7 years, 121 games, starting 36, 433 2/3 innings pitched with a 24-22 record and a lifetime ERA of 3.92. His minor league stats are incredible. 21 seasons, 3,387 innings pitched in 572 games with a 238-163 win-loss record. And here is William Harris. Very simple grave marker, no mention of baseball at all. All right, so we're coming up on the grave of Ben Paschal, who was traded from the Red Sox in 1924 and spent 6 years at the Yankees. In 1925, he replaced Babe Ruth while Ruth was in the hospital for about 6 weeks due to a car accident, I believe. Once Ruth came back, Ben covered for Joe Dugan when he was out. Amazingly, Ben batted .360 that year. He had a great year. He was also part of the 1927 Murderers Row. Played 50 games as a backup and batted .317. During 28 and 29, he was kind of relegated to being a pinch hitter. I only played in a few games. Trying to keep the shadow off of this. Overall, he batted .309 lifetime, .970 on-field average. But his career was kind of overshadowed by his teammates, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Earl Combs. But an amazing player, no doubt.
Gerard Lipscomb played 14 seasons, but only one in the majors. In 1937, he was sent up to the St. Louis Browns, now known as the Baltimore Orioles. In his only season in the majors, Lipscomb played in 36 games as a second baseman, and he also pitched in 3 games. His ERA is .652 in 3 games, all with no decision. He batted .398. After the 1937 season, he went back to the minors where he played an additional 8 seasons and retired in 1947. Garland Lawing played for only 1 season, and that was split among 2 teams. Garland started his baseball career in the minors in 1939, playing for North and South Carolina farm teams. In 1944, he joined the U.S. Army and he missed the 1944 and 1945 seasons. When he returned in 1946, he was signed to the Cincinnati Reds as an outfielder and pinch hitter. He appeared in 2 games for the Reds and had 3 plate appearances with 2 strikeouts. In June of 1946, he was traded to the New York Giants and appeared in 8 games with 12 plate appearances, 2 hits, both singles, and 3 strikeouts. He was then sent back to the minors where he played an additional 9 years and retired in 1957. His stats for his only major league season are 10 games, 15 plate appearances with 2 hits, and a batting average of .133. He played all 3 outfield positions in 5 games and had a perfect fielding percentage.